Hey guys, so before the video starts, I'd like to give a big shout out to Mortis Media for helping out with this video. It was great to be able to work with him, and if you go over to his channel, then you should see the other half of our collaboration, where we narrate some scary Stalker stories that will be sure to keep you up at night. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. I also want to thank Anthony Salamis for making the amazing thumbnail art that I used for this video. You might recognize his artwork from some of B Busta and Lazy Masquerade's video thumbnails. He is really talented, and a link to his Facebook and Instagram page will be in the description. But anyway, with all that said and done, here are 3 really creepy true Stalker stories. Enjoy! Today I went shopping for some food and hygiene stuff. I was in a fruit aisle and I was approached by a bloke that looked similar to the black version of Fat Bastard from Austin Powers, if you can bring yourself to imagine that. He introduced himself by saying, "Can I have your number, baby?" And I respond by showing him my engagement ring and saying I had a partner and I wasn't interested. He then says, "Well, he's not here now, so what can he do? As far as I'm concerned, you're all alone." At this point, I'm getting sick of it and quite frightened of the prospect of being alone with this man, because the supermarket was quiet, so I sped up and became erratic in my decisions about which aisle to go down next. I raced like a lunatic to the tills and went to a male cashier. The creep was nowhere to be seen. I just thought that he'd gotten bored. As I walked to the exit, I saw him out of the corner of my eye and decided to call my partner. He picks up quickly and I put him on speaker, asking him to put the kettle on because I'm nearly home. I did this in hope that the creep would hear his voice and know that my partner was home and that I'm near home. It didn't work, so I took plan B. Plan B was simply to run home as quickly as possible, but it wasn't that easy because I had a lot of main roads to cross. I legged it up to the first set of lights, but they were red, so I couldn't cross. The cars move at 40 miles per hour on that road, so it would have been stupid to try. I'm thinking, shit, he's right on me. He was 10 feet away from me and the lights turned green, so I ran and kept running until I saw a side street I was familiar with. I know, running down the side street wasn't a bright idea, but neither was waiting on the main roads for him to catch up to me and then have no doubt where my boyfriend's house is. I can't explain the decision I made because it wasn't logical, it was intuitive. Through reading The Gift of Fear, I've learned to listen to my intuition's smallest hints and trust them. I was running for 5 minutes straight before I made it home and fell into my partner's arms, babbling and trying to tell him what happened. I'm considering reporting this to the police, just in case this guy tries this shit on a more vulnerable young woman who might not be as physically able as me. Although I've had a lot of creepy and frightening experiences, this is definitely in my top 10 because of how isolated I could have been had I made different decisions about how I was going to get home. It goes without saying that I never want to meet this person again.
This story took place in the summer of 2013. I was a 16-year-old female at the time. My mum and I were on a 6-week road trip across the country. During the 4th week of our trip, we found ourselves in New York. At this point in the trip, we were both exhausted from being on the road for so long and from spending far too much time alone together. But we had made it all the way across the country, so we weren't giving up on the adventure. One night, we had tickets to the Yankees game. We went, we enjoyed the game, and had a good night. The game was over at around 10 to 10:30, and we were staying in New Jersey. So in order to get back to the hotel, we had to take the subway, then walk some distance to Penn Station to take the train back to New Jersey. So we leave the stadium and get to the subway station, along with thousands of other baseball fans, and luckily, we're able to find the right subway and the exit we need to get off without a hitch. We got off the subway and left the subway station and started our walk to the train station. At this point, it was probably close to 11, and there weren't many people walking the streets. Being there from the LA area, I'm not new to the big city, but New York City was a new, foreign, exciting place to me. I was walking pretty slow, trying to take in all the sights. I was looking around and I realized we are right across the street from the Empire State Building. I was stoked and pointed it out to my mum. She, however, did not share in my enthusiasm, and with a look of sheer terror on her face, she says through gritted teeth, "Walk faster. Hurry up, now." I was completely oblivious as to what was going on, but because of how scared she looked, I hurried up without question. She then leaned into me and said, "The guy behind you is about to grab your bag. If he does, let him have it and run." I was stupidly wearing a drawstring Angels backpack, which had been a free giveaway at a baseball game. I know that was a dead giveaway, I was a tourist. As my mum said that, I quickly glanced behind me. This huge man was only feet away and was intently looking over at me. He looked about 7 feet tall, and I am a mere 5'8". He towered over me. I started walking so fast I was almost at jogging pace. My mum then turned around and looked him squared in the eye, and she began walking as fast as me. We were approaching a large intersection, so we started looking around to see if we could yell for help if the guy started to grab me. Much to my relief, there was a cop car parked near the corner. The guy must have seen this too, and he turned the other way at the intersection. When we finally got to the train station, my mum had told me that she had noticed this man following us all the way from the subway station. I got extremely lucky that night, with the cop being there, and it served as a good lesson to me. I always pay more attention to my surroundings now. So creepy mugger dude from New York City, let's not meet again.
This happened several years ago when I was about 17. I had just gotten my first job at a local pizza joint and sailed by the first few months without incident. One particular night, I was closing shop with my manager, who I'll refer to as Evelyn. She and I were getting close to finishing up, and one of my last tasks was to take the trash and old used pizza boxes out to the dumpster. I got what I could and stepped out the back door, making my way to the dumpster at the opposite end of the back parking lot, when I got an odd vibe from just standing out there. When I approached the dumpster, I heard a tiny bit of rustling and something move farther behind the dumpster, as if attempting to stay hidden. I get spooked easy, so I warily called to Evelyn while backing away. When my voice resonated in the lot, a tall, thin man springs from behind the dumpster and hauls ass in the opposite direction. I scream and run as fast as I can back into the restaurant. Nearly crying, I explain everything to Evelyn, and after hearing the whole story, she does a quick sweep of the lot, only to find a dirty coat the man had left behind. She assumed the man was homeless and just warned me to be careful next time. A couple of weeks later, I'm opening the store and make it home around 2 in the afternoon. My mom shows me a news article she had found about a man in our area who had abducted 3 teenagers over the course of 4 or 5 months. I immediately thought of the man behind the dumpster. As much as I would have liked for the story to end here, it only got worse. Several months later, I'm closing with Evelyn again and another manager, Steve. Around 9 p.m, I saw a man pull into the parking lot, and as he did, he turned his headlights off. I was standing where you pull pizzas out of the oven, which was behind only the registers, and with a large glass front. I was clearly able to see the man as he slowly pulled in. I was uneasy, but didn't say much about it as I had work to finish. Half an hour later, I look back and see the man, still with his headlights off, very slowly circling the parking lot. I call Steve over, and after a few long moments of looking out, he rushes me and Evelyn to the back end of the store, where he tells us not to move. Soon after, the police come rushing into the lot, and the man is arrested. After Evelyn and I came out, Steve explained to me that as he looked out the window, the man parked, opened the trunk of his car, and pulled out a long rope, a cloth, and a large knife. Steve dialed the police as the man circled around the building to the back lot. That man was hoping I would come out there again. I quit that job not long afterwards.